born, Jason?
I was born in San Bernardino, California. I was raised in Kansas, Hutchinson, Kansas. I spent most of my life from 13 till I was 21 locked up. Uh, over, I lived in a foster home, and my foster brothers knew I'd do stuff and get me locked up. So I was stupid. But yeah, when I got out of prison when I was 21, I moved to California, and I was on the streets from the get-go. And actually, I lived with my mom for a couple of years, and then she kicked me out. But the streets wasn't no good. I ended up into the drugs and everything else. And after about 12 years, I decided to go back to Kansas. And went back there and started working for the oil field, getting me some properties together. They were trailer houses, but I had me 3 trailer houses. And then I lost them all over a joint. One joint. Went to prison for a year and moved out here.
Tell me more about, you mentioned you were in foster care.
Yeah.
When you were growing up. How did that happen?
My mom and my dad split, and my dad was in the motorcycle gang and shit, and my mom was terrified of him, so anytime he was out, it was like hiding, and she didn't want me to see him and that and everything. Finally, she got tired of it, and Mark, her new boyfriend, or her husband now, didn't like me, but didn't want no kids anyway, and so he up and left one day, and I ended up in foster care.
What age?
Yeah, he beat me really bad with a belt one day for, let's backtrack a little bit. About 6 months earlier, I did light a couch on fire inside of our house that we were stayed in. And all of a sudden, that kind of blew over. I didn't get really punished for it, accident thing. But 6 months later, my mom had this habit that every time she used the bathroom, she would light a match in there to get rid of the smell. That was before you had the Febreze and stuff. But I happened to use the bathroom right after my mom did, and I came out, and my stepdad went in and just smelt that burned match and thought I did it. And he grabbed me up and whooped the living shit out of me. And
how old were you?
5, 6. Yeah. Then that night, I grabbed the sharpest butcher knife out of the cabinet I could find and went in there and just started staring at him. And he finally opened his eyes, and I stuck the knife in his pillow right beside him and just walked away without saying a word. He packed his bags and left the next day. My mom followed him.
And then you went to foster care?
Yep.
How long were you in foster care?
From the time I was 8 until I turned 18.
What was that like?
It was good. Bob, the foster home, the Millers, I went to a couple before, but I ended up at Bob's most, and he was good for me. Bev didn't like me because I found out she was having an affair with an Amish guy, and she was using Bob for his money. And so she didn't like me whatsoever. And Jimmy and Jason, the other 2 foster kids, they would get me to do stuff, and sure enough, I'd get in trouble and get locked up for it. And little dares and stuff, but one time I took a .22 and shot out some windows in a bar, and there was people inside the bar. I didn't know that, but yeah, that's life.
So when you aged out of foster care,
Yeah.
what did you do?
Yeah, I went straight to prison when I turned 18. My own stupidity. But when I got out when I was 21, I moved in with my mom. I hunted my mom down when I was 13 and kept in contact with her. And then moved in with her for a couple years, got to know her, and then she got tired of having me around and told me to move out. And that's about it right there.
When was that?
When I was 21, or actually 24.
What year was
Oh, I'm 49 now, so yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
90s, mid 90s.
yeah, because I got out in 91, 92, something like that. So yeah, 93, 95.
So when you left your mom's house, where'd you go?
Right to the streets.
So you've been on the streets for.
Ever since. I mean, yeah, when I moved back to Kansas, I had my own place when I worked in the oil field and stuff, but I still was outside more than I was inside.
So how'd you get to Seattle?
Uh, I ended up going to prison again for, after 20 years. I went 20 years without going to prison, and they dragged me back over one joint. They caught a cigarette joint. They arrested me for I didn't pay a dog at large charge fine, and it was $100. I forgot to pay it, and they put a bench warrant out for me, and they arrested me when I got off work one day. And I had a joint in my cigarette pack, and they right there in Kansas, it's a felony. Yeah, I was looking at 5 years, but I paid $5,000 for a lawyer, and he got me off with 1 year in prison, and I lost all my rental properties. I had 3 rental properties plus the place I was staying in, but they confiscated them all.
Then from Kansas you came to.
Yeah, I was sitting in Seattle and Denver. Both were playing in the Super Bowl, and they both legalized weed at the same time. But I said, whoever wins this game, that's where I'm moving to. And so Seattle won, and I've been here ever since.
So, if you were to say something to Seattle, what would you want them to know? People of Seattle.
It's a beautiful place here, really beautiful. I mean, the regular people are all right, but the street people are scum. They are thieving son of a bitches, man.
Tell me more about that.
Yeah, they'll play your best friend just to catch you slipping and steal everything from you. I mean, it's hard to find somebody out here that won't steal from you. But the regular people it's beautiful out here. I mean, people, I don't think I'm going to go anywhere. I'm going to die out here, and I love it. I mean, besides all the other people on the streets.
So you've been on the streets a long time.
Yeah, I don't know any other way.
Yeah, tell me about that.
I mean, I don't like paying rent. So, if I can't buy it outright, I'm not going to fucking pay rent. So I figured if I can't afford it, I ain't saving up for it, then I don't need it. I mean.
Well, the question is, if housing was provided, would you?
Yeah, I mean, these last couple of times I've missed it just by being in the wrong spot. Everybody else, a couple of my friends, they got into that when this COVID went down. Some motels went out, and I guess they started them back up for housing for homeless. I missed it by a day. I came around a day late, but on twice, and I missed all the housing. Everybody got signed up, and I didn't. But I guess I'll get lucky one of these times. I just don't want them to send me clear down to renting.
Well, speaking of sending, they do these sweeps.
Yeah.
What's that like?
I pack my stuff with me, so everything goes with me when I leave, so I don't have to worry about it. My motto is if they don't know you're there, they can't ask you to leave.
Kind of stay invisible.
Yeah. I'm up at 4 o'clock every morning and out by 5 o'clock. I mean, some days I might sleep in until 8, but I've been up at 4 o'clock every morning for 20 years.
Why do you wake up so early?
It's just a habit I got into. I don't know how. I used to hate mornings when I was a kid, but for some reason I learned you could train yourself to wake up your internal clock and stuff, and I did it, and I never been able to turn it off ever since then.
Well, again, you're asking people for money on the side of the road.
Yeah.
What's that like?
Um,
Other people.
It's all right. Um, by far, there's a lot of nice people out there. I haven't had no really assholes. Um, wait till this go by. Yeah, I haven't had any real assholes. A few people flip you off or stuff like that. But the ones that I don't like is the people that ignore you, act like you're not even there. I'd rather you tell me to go fuck myself in my face and then just ignore me like I'm nobody. I mean, yeah, that's just like being in school and being bullied all over again. That's why I was in school. Everybody would ignore me, and then they would chase me down after school to beat me up.
How do you cope? What's your coping mechanisms?
I don't know.
A lot of people numb out with a variety of drugs, alcohol.
I smoke some weed and I do a little dabble in just about everything, but I try to stay away from it. I quit heroin 20 years ago and I haven't went back. I don't want to go back. I don't like spending my money on it. Yeah.